It's just another day in a review.
All right, I'm here. I'm A, and this is Tay, and we are here for the next episode of the Chiefs. So we're finally celebrating a win.
Finally.
Yes. So after 5 touchdown passes, one of which was an interception, he still continues his trend of throwing a pick per game, but that's okay.
It's fine.
Garrett Willing, a really interesting performance here by the Chiefs, finally showing that dominance that we know they're capable of, getting Reed that 100th win that he's been trying so hard. He deserves it, 100th win against his former team, the Eagles.
Yes.
So Eagles had a pretty good performance too. They had Jalen Hurts threw 2 touchdown passes, 387 yards. 3 TDs were negated inside the red zone, so that's showing a good defense there. Devontae Smith had a good performance. Former Heisman Trophy winner. Caught 7 passes for over 120 yards, so pretty good there. But despite these injuries that the Chiefs had, maybe 3 players that were out, they still were able to pull out a W. So what were your thoughts overall on their performance this week?
Well, I just gotta say this. I am so glad to be talking to you about a win. I was kind of nervous that wasn't gonna happen. But I mean, overall, I think the performance was good. I mean, defense, yes, still struggling, obviously. But again, you gotta give our opponent credit. I mean, I know that Jalen is not a true rookie, but his first season, so I understand that there's some learning curves there and whatnot, but I do think that Jalen is gonna be great. I mean, we're talking about a former Bama and OU quarterback. Like, I think people kind of overlook that by well, he plays for the Eagles. Okay, but the kid was great and he still can be, like, you got a new coach in the Eagles and a young team. He's playing with a former teammate and Devontae Smith. Like, I just think that a lot of people kind of overlook these rookie led teams because they're like, oh, well, they can't be as good. Like, yes, they can, and he will be good, like, in the long run. So I think you got to give credit to Jalen. I think he did great. But I think our defense finally was able to step up in, like you said, in the way of holding them to at least a couple of field goals as opposed to touchdowns. I mean, that's progress. I mean, we did get one stop in the red zone, and that first touchdown that the Eagles got should have been taken off the board. We should have thrown the challenge flag, and we didn't. So I think that's another thing in itself. But I mean, overall, I feel better about it. I think that we're going to be better now that we have Willie Gay finally back. He got off the IR today, so I'm very excited about that. I also think that Pat is like on another level. Like, this kid does not get enough accolades for all that he does. Like, he literally had maybe the quietest 5-touchdown game ever. Like, no one's even talking about it because it's just like, oh yeah, that's Pat Mahomes. And it's like, no, like, this kid is going out here and doing unbelievable things. I saw a stat yesterday that said that, so I think, did he just have his 50 starts, or maybe that was 49? I think, I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I think he's close. Either that was 49 or 50, but either way, he has thrown 3+ touchdown passes in 25 starts, which is half of his career starts. Like, that's insane. And no one has done that since 1950 is what the stat said. Like, that is just mind-blowing. Like, who does that? Nobody does that. No one else's favorite quarterback does that. Aaron Rodgers, no. Tom Brady, absolutely not. And Russell Wilson, no. Like nobody else does that. And I think it's just, I don't know, it gets so lost because we're just used to how good Pat is. And it's like, no, like, we are literally watching greatness. And we get to add Josh Gordon to this offense also on Sunday night. Like, I am ecstatic because I think that we're going to be on a whole nother level. And especially if Clyde can keep up what he's doing. Like, Clyde just had 2 back-to-back 100-yard rushing games, and no one's talking about that either because they're still so worried about the fumble from the Sunday night against the Ravens. Like, it's crazy because it's like, is the defense awful? Yes. But is the offense good enough that it might not matter? Yes. Like, it's going to be interesting to see, because if our defense can take it up even just a little bit, then we might be secretly unstoppable.
Yeah, true. I mean, I told you last time, that's how I was taught. Defense wins games. I agree with that. I guess when your offense is good, I mean, I can understand why they kind of sleep on a lot of his accolades there, because it's expected from him at this point.
Right.
But in a way, that's a good thing. I mean, he's very young still. He's going to be there a long time, I think, probably longer than.
Right.
How old was Peyton Manning when he retired? He was what? Because he was
40. Right? He was 40 or 41.
Yeah, 40. Because he was playing. He was playing when a lot of those players were born, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, because he was there a long time. But I think Patrick Mahomes, no one was talking about Hill.
No.
One was talking
Who also
about,
had a crazy game.
Yeah, he did really well. Darrell Williams, what impresses me, he's 5'11", and he's kind of short, but he runs it in for touchdowns, and I find that impressive within itself. But nobody talks about these highlights because that's expected, or they're focused on the mistakes that they're making on defense, and I can understand why, because their games they're fun to watch, but they're very high scoring games, like 40s and 30s, and they're close too.
Yeah.
So like you said, the defense fixes a few things. But I understand why maybe he didn't throw these challenge flags because he wants to save them from when they're in trouble. That's the only thing I can think of because their defense kind of gets him in trouble a few times, and it might be that one crucial play. He doesn't want to use them too early.
Yeah.
Especially because I think they were missing Frank Clark at the end. They were missing a cornerback, Javarius Ward. I think he was injured as well. And a safety, Rashad Fenton. I think he was injured. As well, so they're missing some players on defense, so that could have played a factor into the defense struggling a little bit. But they're playing the Bills next, right? The Chiefs.
We got the Bills.
My friend, he's a huge Bills fan, so he's going to be watching that game closely. And it's just they did hold them to some field goals, so that's good, especially given the injuries that they had. But their offense is so they're really good. So my friend thinks that just having a good QB wins games. Maybe in a video game like Madden, but in real life, it takes everyone. But I think this week they did really well. They really did earn that win this week. I'm glad that they finally told me about a W. And my Bears did good. I mean, they played the Lions, but still, they did win.
Still got a W.
Of course, yeah. I mean, the Lions are trash, to be honest with you, but it's still good for them to finally get a win. They're looking good against this team. I mean, the Eagles, but they have to be careful because Hurts almost got 400 yards on them. Passing game, so they got to be careful with that. I don't know if they're going to be back from injuries for next week, but against the Bills, I don't know. That they got to be careful with their defense a little bit. So we'll see how the defensive coordinator does this week, practice and film. What do you think on their defense? What do you think they need to do with these the current roster with the injuries?
I mean, I feel, and I hate to say this because I like Frank Clark, but I feel as if he's not necessarily needed anymore, just in the sense that he's played one game this season. We're going into week 5, and I don't know, we pay this guy a lot of money. He is the 3rd highest linebacker, behind Aaron Donald and Khalil Mack, which is crazy. He did us a service in the Super Bowl win. I will always give people credit for how they help us, and I think that playoff run, he absolutely helped us to get to the ultimate goal, but now we're running into the same problem that we had with linebackers in the past. the Tamba Hollies, the Justin Houstons, like guys that can't stay on the field. And what do? We let these players go because we can't pay you money if you're not going to be on the field, you know? And so it sucks because I like Frank and I think he's a great player, but I don't think he's worth what we're paying him right now. And I feel like right now we might be a better team without him on the field. And I know that's crazy to say, but I think we absolutely get better when Willie Gay comes on the field. I haven't heard if Frank or Ward are going to be back. So it's hard for me to say what we're going to do on Sunday because honestly, I don't know. But I think our defense automatically gets better having Willie out there. And I don't know. I mean, I feel like our backup, the secondary did great. I think Baker had a great game. And who else was out there? Juan Thornhill was out there. Juan does great. I think he still needs to get more time. But I don't know. I feel like I've heard a lot of talk saying that it's fixable. You know, whatever's going on, it's fixable. And if it is, I'd like to see some progress in it. I mean, I do think that we did a good job of holding them to 3 multiple times in that game, like I said. But I want to get 3 and outs. Like, I want to get to the quarterback. Like, and we're not doing that. Like, you probably watched it last night too, the Raiders and the Chargers last night. Like, those defenses got to the quarterback, and I couldn't help but think the whole time, like, oh my God, like this is what the Chiefs are missing. Like, we have sacked guys maybe once a game in each of our games, and like that's just not what we're used to seeing, you know, because like Chris in his new role, he can't get to the quarterback, and then everybody else, no offense, they're great players, but like they're slow and they're not coming off the line like that to get to the quarterback. And all these young quarterbacks are so fast and they're so quick and they just get out of it, you know?
Yeah.
So
in the bench.
yeah, right. Like the Kyler Murrays, the Jalen Hurts, the Lamars, Baker, even like, you know, they all get out of it. So I just, I don't know. I think this week will be a little more telling of what is to come for our defense, because I think this will be the first true, you know, look at like how it's supposed to be in a sense. And that's even if Frank doesn't play or if Ward doesn't play. But I don't know. I'm optimistic because, like I said, I mean, I think these are fixable things. I think the personnel is there. I think they're just struggling, and I'm not really sure why. But I will be interested to see how they do against this Bills team, because we all know Josh Allen is great. Obviously, they have Stephon Diggs and Dawson Knox. I mean, we know they're a high-powered offense, so. You know, I think they have to come out with a game plan, and we can't just go out there and do what we did the last 4 weeks, or it's going to be an absolute shootout. It's going to be 50-50, and it's going to be whoever has the last possession wins the game. Like, I hope it's not that bad, but that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, as entertaining as that would sound, that would be pretty scary for Chiefs fans. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe because these defensive players are injured, that the other players are trying to pick up the slack, and that's probably why they're playing a little bit differently. But it will be interesting to see. The Bears play the Raiders next as well, so they're probably gonna. They're probably gonna struggle with that one, but we'll see. I mean, if they keep playing the way they've been playing, I don't know. They're not clicking with me this season. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just. It's not the defense.
Raiders.
No, the Bears.
Oh, yeah.
The Bears are just struggling right now. Yeah, they beat the garbage Lions, but I want to see how they do against a good team. Because right now, I mean, they got their QB back. Matt Nagy. I mean, it looked like he was starting to get it together a little bit, but we'll see against the Raiders. But yeah, the Bills, that should be a good matchup to watch. Like you said, fix some things on defense, keep the offense going. Maybe some players will be back from injury. We'll see.
We'll see.
I didn't see. Did they get a lot? I don't think they got a lot of penalties either this week. Did the Chiefs? I don't think so.
Did they get what?
A lot of penalties this week? I don't think so. At least not as much as last week.
No, not really. I can't even remember very many.
Yeah,
holding.
No, yeah, that's normal. That's usually a holding call here and there. That's normal.
Yeah,
honestly,
maybe 2 calls in the whole game. Like there just wasn't a lot, period, which was good.
Yeah, that's something they fixed from last week. That they had
Yes.
several penalties from last week that kind of cost them. But this time, the high-powered offense is doing good. I mean, you can always rely on
Right.
Mahomes every game. It didn't look like he forced many passes. The protection is looking a lot better. He's not having to, scramble as much. So that's good. So we'll see.
Yeah, the protection was great this week. I don't know if you saw some of like the replays of the O line just like parting the way. Like, oh my God, like there was one that Clyde easily should have had a touchdown, but he's a great running back, but he just kind of got caught up in that, and so he had a very open run to the end zone, and he didn't quite get there. But I mean, oh my God, I mean, it was like parting the Red Sea, like it was a huge gap, and I'm like, oh my God, like we haven't seen that in a long time, and like we've had a good O line for a while, but like these young guys are really going at it and really doing great. I think the center Creed Humphrey, he hasn't allowed a pressure yet, and between him and Trey Smith, who's also a rookie, I mean, they are like amazing. Like right now, they are having like Pro Bowl seasons as rookies, which is just crazy. I still can't believe that we were able to get both of them in the draft, and just the way that they're producing is like you couldn't ask for more. I mean, out there with Tooney and Brown, I mean, they're killing it. It's really fun to watch. And I think that they're gelling more every week, obviously. Like, everybody the first week was like, oh, they're okay. And I'm like, no, they're not. They're great. And they're going to continue to get better. So, like, if you thought they were just okay week 1, well, let's see where they're at week 13, week 14, week 17, and into the playoffs. Like, they're going to keep getting better. And, oh, man, I'm just really excited to see what they can do. And like I said, if this defense can just get a little bit better, then we're going to be a problem for people. So I think it happens. I think we kind of got to, just take it a game at a time, which the Chiefs are so good at doing. So I'm not worried about that. I mean, we're the ones that are not worried. Like everybody else in the football world is worried about us right now. Like, oh, the Chiefs are at the bottom of the AFC West. But did you guys see what happened this weekend? The Broncos played a real team and they lost. And then you got the Chargers and the Raiders going at it, and the Chargers whooped on the Raiders. I mean, I know the Raiders had a decent game, especially defensively, but I mean, where was Derek Carr last night? People were talking about him for MVP, and I'm like, why? Like, it's
I mean, it's way too early to know right now.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like going off records, especially this early in the season. I mean, a team could they can have a losing record. They just have to do enough to make the playoffs, and as long as they do good there, that's what people say. That's what matters. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. The Bills. I mean, I'm not too familiar with them. I know they're a strong offensive team, and the defense doesn't fix it up. They're going to struggle, but I'm sure they're going to fix it this week. Because my wife, she had to wear a Chiefs shirt at work today because the Chiefs won.
Yeah?
Because they made a bet that if the Chiefs won, she had to wear a Chiefs shirt. Because my wife, she's not a big Chiefs fan, so they had to wear a Chiefs
she's a Bears fan.
Yes, she's a Bears. she can't stand the Chiefs, but
oh man,
just because. So she had to wear Chiefs.
We can't be friends.
Oh yeah. She does it only good fun, but it was good this week. But yeah, not a lot to cover this week. They did pretty good offensive wise. Just gotta fix those things on defense. But yeah, good job on them for picking it up. Just holding the field goals with those injured players out, and still able to win by 12 points to get a 100 win for Reed.
Exactly.
Patrick Mahomes, I want to see if he can go a game without throwing an interception. That's something
I would like to see that myself.
Yeah, he throws a pick every game so far. That's so we'll see if he does it next week. That's something I'm going to be watching.
Hey, you know what? His ratio though, if you look at where he's at now, like he probably will throw like about a pick a game if he's gonna go for as many touchdowns as he does. Like statistically, that's probably what's gonna happen. Like I think someone was doing the math and he could have like I don't know, I think it was 56 or 59 touchdowns with like 17 or 18 interceptions. And I was like, okay, well, we're already like halfway there as far as interceptions go. So we got to nix those. But I was proud of the offense too, because if you notice, besides, I think it was Tyreek's last touchdown was a little bit of a bomb, but otherwise, if you watch the offense, they did a lot of things that were kind of uncharacteristic of them in general, as far as a lot more like smaller plays, like to take up more time and to just, kind of make your way down the field, as opposed to like, oh, well, there's Tyreek, and like have the touchdown right away. I think they did a lot better with like time management and just doing little chunk here and there, and then still ending with the touchdown. That's something that you don't really see the Chiefs do a lot. You see a lot more of those, a 12-yarder here, a 15-yarder here, and oh, there's the 30-yard touchdown. Like that's just kind of what we've done ever since we've had Pat and Tyreek, and it's like, we don't have to do that every time, like we can run the ball. We can do little, 5-7 yard plays here and there and just continue to work our way down the field. Like that's something that's just uncharacteristic. And I think that is kind of what made us successful on Sunday against the Eagles, is like the Eagles were playing us deep the whole game. Like the Eagles were ready for that big bomb, and we just didn't give it to them. And then when we finally did, of course, it was on our old player, Steven Nelson. Yeah, it was on Steven Nelson, who I did not care for him when he was here. And now that he played on the Steelers and now he's on the Eagles, and it's like, I just like to pick on people that used to play for us that I don't know. I appreciated him when he was here, I guess, but like we all knew that he wasn't as good as like we needed for the team, So yeah. I don't know. I just think it's funny when you play those former players, because it's like, oh, haha, like who's the one laughing now? Like obviously it's us. Yeah. But
you gotta love that.
Yeah, right. It's just always fun.
Yeah, the Bears are the same way. We always get players and you think they're going to be good. They should be as good, but then they're not. Like, it was like Brandon Marshall, Jared Allen. I mean, there was a bunch. They always. I call it the Bears curse. We always get like, the only player I think was Julius Peppers. He was the only one I think that was really that we got. And Julius Peppers. We had a lineman, Gabe Karimi from University of Wisconsin. I think he was good. But we struggled to find like one QB because we went through a bunch of Rex Grossman, Kyle Orton, Jay Cutler, and I think we're at with Trubisky. Now finally, I think we might have a QB here.
Hopefully.
We'll see. All right. So let's see. So next week the Bills, the Bears play the Raiders. So what's your prediction for that? I think they're going to come out with another win?
Honestly, I seriously think it's going to be a shootout. Like, I think it's going to come down to whoever has the ball last. And I trust in our team and our coaching staff to make it be us, like almost like no matter what, like I feel like we're going to have the ball and we're going to win. But again, I think defense has to at least make a stop of some sort. I don't care if that's a turnover or literally a stop. Like, I think the defense has to come, and they can't just let the Bills march down the field all game, or, I mean, that's just going to be exhausting for everybody. Like, I feel like it's going to be all offense, almost no defense, but I hope that the defense can do a little bit of something. So, I don't know. I think the Chiefs win. I think, honestly, it's like 41-35 is what I think is going to happen. If anyone's making bets this week, I would bet that the Chiefs have an over/under of like almost 100. That's probably a pretty easy bet.
Oh yeah, good. Especially like you said, that clock management. When they do that, when they control the clock, they're able to march it downfield. That's good for the defense to regain stamina. That's good for special teams. Because when you get those 3-out plays, those quick, even if you score right away, that's good. But your defense, who was just
has time to rest.
Yeah, they need time to recuperate. Because I remember I used to hate that. I'm like, oh, we have to go back out already. Like, time to get water.
Exactly. Right.
I got to get water, talk to the trainer. take care of those nagging injuries, and they can't do that with
Yep.
3 outs or right away. But yeah, we'll see.
Right.
So we'll see. We'll see if your prediction comes true. We'll see if they'll get that next win against the Bills. But I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know about the Bears and the Raiders. We'll see it on that as well.
I mean, honestly, if you can let Khalil Mack and the D line get to Derek Carr, I think you guys have a chance, because this is what the Chargers did last night. Like, you just gotta hit Derek Carr, and it's like game over. Like, he's always been this way. Like, it kind of makes me sad that the Chiefs don't have a pass rush, because we're not going to get that chance when we play them if we keep up the way we're going now. But I think if you guys can get to Derek Carr, that you have a very good chance of at least being in the game if the offense shows up, and if Nagy lets Fields do his thing, then you guys could have a good chance of doing well. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm rooting for y'all. That's for sure.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Well, yeah, we'll look forward to next week. Well, thank you for joining me for another awesome episode of TNA. We'll look and see if our predictions will come true for another win for the Chiefs. Hopefully the Bears do good. But thank you,
Hopefully.
Taylor.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. It's been fun.
Oh, yeah. Well, I look forward to the next one. We'll be covering the Bills, Chiefs versus Bills. We'll see the performance. Hopefully they'll keep that high-powered offense going.
I sure hope so.
Oh, yes.